this guy thinks he's fast. What is going on, guys? Hope y'all have all had a good week. So last video I kind of talked about what gear you should and shouldn't wear, and kind of geared it more towards, and kind of geared the conversation more towards new riders. And that video seems to be doing pretty well, which I completely understand, because when I was a brand new rider, or like before I even got my first bike, I probably watched more YouTube videos about bikes than I do now. So I get it. So because of that, I kind of wanted to make another video geared more towards you new guys. So I just kind of want to make a general video today of just getting into riding, being a new rider in general. I'm not going to really talk about gear again. I do, like I said in my last video, your first step as a new person should be to get gear. But I'm not going to have that whole spiel again. You can go watch that video if you want to. And there's plenty of other videos out about gear. More along the lines of like getting into your first bike. What kind of first bike should you get? What's right for you? Just how to ride as a new person. Just very like general basic stuff. So my first bike, when I first got it started, if you've watched my previous videos, that you guys already know this, it was an R3. I'm a Yamaha fanboy, okay? I had an R3, R7, MT-09, and now the R1, so. But kind of my path towards where I am now and how I got started, I feel like is probably the, I don't want to say the best path you could take. For me, it was the best path personally to take. There's gonna be some mixed opinions on this. Some people might agree with me, some people might disagree, but for my advice to new people, as far as what bikes you should get, start small. You can always work your way up. And for someone with absolutely zero riding experience, never been on two wheels before, you're gonna want to start small. When I first started, the R3 felt fast. I thought the R3 was fast when I first started riding, until I started riding with other people that had like liter bikes and 600s and things like that, and I was like, oh, I don't even know what fast is. I'm also testing out some new audio settings today. My last video I posted was extremely windy, so I went into the camera and have turned like the wind reduction on max, and I also realized that before my camera audio was set to record audio from both my microphone and also the camera's microphone. So it was getting a lot of wind noise, so I'm hoping this video kind of fixes that. It's kind of like a little trial run, so if the audio sounds better or worse, y'all let me know. I'm also heading to a little spot that a little special to me, because it's where I learned to ride my first bike, so I figured I'd take you guys with me since we're talking about new guys today and learning to ride and all that kind of good stuff. Woohoo! I hope y'all can hear those pops a little better. Before we really get into this, I'm gonna stop and get some gas. So this is it. This is where it all got started. This is the big empty parking lot that I first learned to ride in. So being a new person, once you get your first bike, I'll talk about kind of like what I think kind of good first bikes would be and stuff like that. But once you do get your first bike, I would highly recommend coming out to a parking lot just like this and just getting comfortable learning how to ride your specific bike, how to work the clutch, the throttle, how the brakes feel, get up to a decent speed, brake as hard as you can, find your bike's limits. Every bike's going to be different, you know. But this is the parking lot that I started in when I had the R3. When I first got the R3, I was in this parking lot for probably a good 1 to 2 weeks before I ever brought it out to the street and really rode it for the first time. And with like smaller bikes like that, like the R3, you can really work the gearbox in a small parking lot like this. I mean, you can get 3rd, 4th gear up in a parking lot like this. So I would really recommend coming to an empty parking lot and just learning how to ride in a parking lot where you have no traffic, nothing to hinder you, and you're gonna mess up. You're gonna stall. You may even drop the bike. Please just try not to drop your bike, but you know what I mean. It happens. And don't get discouraged as a new person, because you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna do things that you think stupid, but that's how you learn, you know. If it helps you guys, I'll actually I have a clip of myself when I had the R3, like the first time I ever brought it into this parking lot and was learning to ride it. I'll put a clip up where I actually stall it trying to take off, and I probably stalled that thing like a million times before I really figured out how to work it. So I'll put that clip up right now so you guys can see that. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this parking lot just as an example of a good place I think, you know, to learn how to ride would be. But I'm gonna head out of here, continue, because it's hot as hell. Gosh, I remember I couldn't even make that turn out of that parking lot without stalling on the R3. But look at me now. Started from the bottom, now we're here. But I'm just gonna kind of take a route that I used to take often when I was brand new. Started out in the parking lot, then I'll just come out on some back streets like this. And I'm gonna say something controversial right now. Some people may agree with me, some people may have different opinions, but a lot of people will say start on a 600. 600s make good beginner bikes, and I'm gonna have to disagree with that statement. I feel like for somebody brand new, never ridden a bike before, a 600 is too fast. 600s are fast bikes. In comparison to something like this, it's not, but going from something like an R3 to an R6, that's a big jump in power, you know? Like 600s are fast. You know, that's my opinion. But so my recommendation for you new guys is, like I've already said, start small. I would look into something more like an R3, a Ninja 400, something like that. If you guys want something that's a little bit faster but that's not going to be overwhelming, I would say like an R7, MT-07, Ninja 400, or I'm sorry, a Ninja 650. That would be like my upper end, like for a first bike, beginner bike. Like when if you've never ridden anything and you get on one of those like R3s or Ninja 400s, it's a lot to learn, and you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna make mistakes, and you want to have that, like those growing pains while you're on something small. You don't want to be making those mistakes while you're on something like this, because that's how you get hurt. Those mistakes that I used to make on the R3, if I did that on this R1, I don't think I'd be riding very long, because one, I just wouldn't enjoy it. Oh, let me pause my music, hear myself think. One, I don't think I would enjoy it very much, because quite frankly it would scare me. This bike still scares me and I've been riding for like 5 years, so something like this for a new person, I couldn't imagine. Like, that's just ridiculous. But like those little tiny mistakes that you make on like a small bike, making them on a big bike, the consequences are ridiculous, you know, compared to that small bike. So I would get yourself a smaller bike to begin with. So yeah, that's my spiel about your first bike. Get something small, and don't let people judge you for having a beginner bike. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and if you're riding with people who are judging you for having a small bike, then in my opinion, you probably don't want to ride with those people. You know, in my experience, the bike community is a very close-knit, like, brotherhood type of community, where me personally, I don't care what kind of bike you're on, small, fast, you know, whatever, sport, non-sport. If you're on two wheels, you got my respect. So that's how I generally feel like the bike community is. There's some bad apples like there is everywhere, but don't let anybody judge you for getting a slow bike. Start slow, work your way up. That's my gist. And just kind of find what you like, you know. Like I said, I'm a Yamaha fanboy. I've always liked Yamahas. You know, there's plenty of beginner bikes out there. But anyway, so you got your first bike. You got yourself a Ninja 300. I'm sorry, you got yourself an R3, a Ninja 400, R7, or a Ninja 650. So you got you one of those 4 bikes. Good job. You started off on the right foot. Go work yourself up in a parking lot, figure out your bike and just how to ride it. Once you finish doing that, you feel a little more comfortable, you're ready to take it out. Take it out on more of a back road like this. Don't take it out on the highway or a place with a lot of intersections or anything like that where you're going to get overwhelmed, where the speed's real high. Speed limit on this road's 35. You know, I'm not going 35, but you know what I mean. Go to a back road where there's not a whole lot going on, where you can get comfortable. And then after that, once you start to slowly get more and more comfortable with, you know, with yourself and your bike's limitations and your limitations, then you can start venturing out a little bit more, you know. Go onto a normal street, start meeting some people, join some groups. The people you meet in the bike community are going to help you tremendously with learning how to ride, what to do, what not to do, maintenance, just everything you can think of. The people in the bike community will help you whoever you meet. I don't really talk about it a whole lot, but like honestly, my biggest influence for having the R1 and my love for the R1 came from one of my really good friends who, when I had the R3, I met him maybe a month or two into riding, and he had an R1 and it was built fast as hell, and he was extremely knowledgeable about riding, everything that had to do with riding, from maintenance to how to ride safely, where to position yourself in a lane, just everything you can think of he knew, and he taught me. He kind of took me under his wing. Unfortunately, about a year or two into knowing him, he passed away in a motorcycle accident on his R1, and that's honestly my biggest influence for having the R1 was him. But my point is, find you somebody like that who will kind of take you under their wing with you being a new person and just teach you and help you. There's plenty of people out there like that. That was just a cop that I gave the fingers to. Something else I want to talk about. This is just for new riders, but just riders in general too. See how I'm parked in the lane, or not parked, but like see where I'm positioned in the lane. I see a lot of people I see a lot of people stop at red lights, like right in the middle of the lane, right behind the car in front of them. And that's a good way to get pancaked and rear-ended and hurt and lose your bike. All things we don't want to happen. So it's a good practice. if you can pull in between the both lanes, like kind of on the line in between people. So one, if you do get rear-ended, you're not gonna most likely get pushed into the car in front of you and get pancaked. And there's a good chance that the car, if they do, you know, if they aren't paying attention, they'll just miss you completely. And I'll be fine, and this little Kia right here will get rammed from behind. It also allows me a good escape. I can easily get through this middle here, up to the front and out if I need to, if something were to be going on behind me or something I need to get away from. Nothing specific. I was about to do a pull on the state trooper right there. That's what I mean, look ahead. If I would have just pulled up to Mock Jesus right now, that trooper would have been on my ass. Now I'm gonna pull. Before and after you do something stupid, always look behind you. And please, guys, don't be those douchebag riders that are dicks for no reason to cars. Like, people are gonna cut you off, people are gonna almost kill you. Like, it happens to me almost every time I ride. But there's no sense in getting upset about it, because 99.99999% of the time when stuff like that happens, people are not purposefully out to get you, okay? They just don't see you. And if I'm coming up on somebody at 170 miles an hour and they cut me off, that's my fault. That's not their fault. That's my fault, you know? So don't be the person that is douchebags to cars, you know, hitting people's mirrors, yelling at people. Don't do all that stuff. There's just no point. Even you on your R3 or Ninja 400 should be able to easily get away from a normal car. You can fit places they cannot. You could probably accelerate faster than they can, even on those small bikes. So there is no reason to hang around and get into arguments with people and cause issues when you can simply just get away. Guy thinks he's fast. That's pretty much it for this video. If you guys want to see more stuff about geared more towards new riders, let me know. I feel like that's a lot of the audience on YouTube. This is just kind of a more general, you know, new rider stuff. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Y'all stay safe, ride safe. Until the next one.